Commissioner, you didn't leave it off our minute track. Somehow we had a button to get unclicked, and we had one amendment to an existing agreement y'all had already approved. It was supposed to be on the agenda, but did not make it, and it's changing the name of a previous company to Securasoft. So we'd like to add that to the agenda, to change the name to an existing agreement with the company y'all allowed.
I'll move for one item that you bid. Have a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Now you consider, now what is the old name? I move for the amendment to the existing agreement.
So the old name was Securasoft, the new name will be Stella Source.
It's actually adding Stella, so they created an entity that is kind of like a, I don't want to say it's an agency, they're going to be working together. So it's just adding both of them, but nothing changes for how much money you're going to be giving them or anything. It's just allowing both of those entities to hire because they're working together. So they are the same. So if you read through it, you can see that they just added this entity as part of their sister, I guess you would say. So that's all this is. It's just adding them so that whenever they request their incentive reimbursement, we know that they're together.
Sounds like it's just about transparency, like
Yeah.
you all
That is
just
all it is.
report on
That is all it is.
You have a question?
No, I just,
But they are here, yes.
I mean, is this already an agreement already?
Sound like it's an existing agreement, all you're doing is putting all the players out on the contract.
Okay.
Yes. Y'all approved it back in May.
Can you hold in second?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Turn on the internet.
All in favor, President?
Aye.
Thank you. We can release the open vote. Anything that you want to say before we go?
We had the two projects.
Okay. All right.
That's called billable hours.
Read one more. That's it.
This is probably, no,
Jeff, what is
this is item 2.
this? Bradshaw.
Would the commissioners check and see if one of them perhaps got mine, while they were sitting here, got mine, black book? I didn't know black book. Okay, well, check, well, you ain't want to share?
We can.
I looked
Sure
good.
did again. I'm sorry.
Was she right, didn't it?
I was. It became her.
Commissioner Bond, do you want to get the Brassfield project first?
So I say,
Do you want to hit the Brassfield project first, and overview on that one?
it doesn't matter to me.
That's fine.
So the next commissioners, you'll have the asphalt and Goyer project, which is 772 here. Go ahead, Andrew.
All right, so we've got a team from Bristol and Gory here today to give us an overview about a potential project that they're looking at for District 2. That's going to be located adjacent to their existing headquarters tower. They are currently exploring the opportunity to add a second sort of twin tower to their headquarters facility. This project would have an estimated capital investment of $19 million and would hire 70 new jobs in the area at an average wage of about $74,000. They are requesting assistance on this project in the form of the county's jobs grant. Based off of the payroll breakdown that we've received from the company, we think that over a 3-year period, that jobs grant would have a maximum cap of about $190,000 that would be paid in arrears after they hire and retain the employees. Got some representatives from Brassfield here today, so I'll let them speak a little bit more about their project in depth. One thing I will note we have performed our typical cost benefit analysis on this. VBA has provided that and we've reviewed it. I believe it's in your packet, but if you don't have a copy of that, I'll be happy to provide it to you. So at this point,
Thanks, Tim. Good morning. My name is Nancy Carey. I'm Associate General Counsel with Braswell and Gorey. Thank you all for having me today and giving me time on your agenda to share a little bit about this proposed project for Braswell and Gorey. A little bit about Braswell and Gorey. Our roots are in Alabama. We were founded in 1964 by Mr. Miller Gorey when he purchased the company for just $45,000 from Mr. Brasfield. He and Ms. Imogene Powell were the first 2 employees of the company, and Ms. Imogene is one of the 5 named founders along with Mr. Gorey. Today, we have over 3,700 employees across the nation. We have 13 offices located in 8 states. Our headquarters sit in Alabama, and in Alabama, we have a little over 1,200 employees, and we're growing rapidly. Our Birmingham campus, our headquarters, is located in the Lakeview District, as Jeff mentioned, and over the last 5 years, we've made significant improvements and renovations on that campus. And thank you for your support. We're grateful for that and making those renovations. We invested about, our budget was about $26 million for those renovations and ended up having to get almost double that. Once we got in, we found that we had to do a little bit more than we expected to accommodate our growth. With those renovations, we committed to 88 net new jobs, which we have now exceeded. And as Jeff mentioned, we plan on a similar commitment with the new addition to the headquarters. Because we're continuing to grow rapidly, as I mentioned, we found that we will need this additional space, which will sit next to our existing building. We will need to construct a new building.
This is the existing building, and this is the project we're talking about.
Yeah. So you'll see we'll have a walkway that connects the new building to the existing building. The new building is about 28,000 square feet. It will be 3 stories, and it will hold 113 desks and 57 new offices. I think we've already mentioned that the proposed cost is $19 million. And this is an evening view of the building. As you can see, we've got like an illuminated display. This represents right now, we will be celebrating our 60th anniversary next year. We do not plan on renting that out. That is just to support the community. For instance, if the World Games, if we had had this building during the World Games, we could have lighted this up as, with the logo. So that's a nice feature that we're excited about as well. So that's just a short summary of the project. I'm happy to take any questions.
Quick question. What incentives are we providing for this project?
Not more than 191,000.
yeah, we're proposing a jobs grant tied to the creation of jobs of about 74,000 in average wage. Cap on the incentives package would be $190,000, and that would have to be paid in arrears. So they would have to hire the employees, hold on to them for a year, and then submit for reimbursement on that.
So it sounds like another performance agreement, is that what I mean?
Yeah, if they don't,
And then our investment is $191. It don't take me long to get it, that just, all you gotta do is tell me the money amount.
$190,000.
Okay. Alright, and so now 190 is to pay for, we're talking about workforce?
Workforce, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
High paid work.
I got it, 74,000, how many jobs?
70.
70, okay. Okay. Okay.
Just like to thank you for staying here and the commission helping put this together. That's what Rory, the oldest member of this table, has been a corporate citizen of this county. He's always a young man. Could have gone elsewhere. She's glad to stay here with his jobs and business in town.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
I'd like to point out, they're building a UAD West Hospital, but we're working with them to build a road. They're ahead of schedule about 3 months, and they're an excellent company. They've helped with some major road projects, and we hope to learn a little bit from them in the coming months as well. It's good that they're in Birmingham.
Pressure don't need that.
Can I ask them a question too, it's not related to this project? How much of the work out there, what kind of 90%?
No, in Alabama, it's about, and I've got it,
9%?
it may be on that sheet that you've got there on the flip side. Yes,
Pie
our
chart.
revenue is about 9% Alabama, so our highest revenue is in Georgia.
And if I see y'all signs up or something. You can do
We're growing fast here, we're committed to continue to grow here in Alabama.
You bring the money back here, right?
That's right.
And if I could add maybe a little bit more context to that, this is something that I really appreciate in Grassfield, is that while their growth has been astronomical, really in other states, and they've set up other offices around the southeast, their commitment to grow their headquarters in Birmingham has been strong, and they've really backed up their commitment with all of this thing. So, good opportunity for us as a community to keep their growth here, and secure some really good paying jobs here in the community.
Mr. Philip really helped us out on a bridge to the third oldest Girl Scout camp in the nation. And a lot of that was gratuitous, and we really appreciated that.
Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, who is the contractor that's been building through this?
The contractor is Pylon Building Group, who you may have heard of, so, and that is a new venture from Brasco and Glory, and, just due to licensing and bond capacity, we structured it so that it is a wholly owned subsidiary of Brasco and Glory. But once they are, they already have a few projects they're working on, and so once they are able to, have the experience and the portfolio to move out on their own, they will come out from Brasco and Glory, and they will not be an affiliate of Brasco and Glory any longer.
All of us.
It's been moved and seconded.
Motion.
You want to carry?
Carries.
Aye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Been good to you so far. Keep
And then our,
going. We got two items in an hour.
All right, yeah, this will be the last segment on the project. So, the next one, that's on the list is a redevelopment project, also in District 2, over in Homewood.
That's in District 5, or in District?
No, it's District 2.
Okay.
So, if y'all are familiar with the old Econo Lodge off of Oxmoor Road in Homewood, y'all may be a little bit familiar with its history. It's kind of been a focal point for shenanigans over the years, and would be considered, at least in my mind, a blighted property that's really hindered a lot of growth on the West Homewood, sort of District 2 side of Homewood. We've got a developer that's looking at taking the property, demolishing the blighted hotel campus that exists there currently, bring in multifamily housing and retail space. And it'd be a really nice redevelopment project for that site. But they are facing a little bit of a funding gap, so they've asked us to think of ways in which the county might be able to come in and assist. We try to approach any sort of incentive proposal as a performance-based proposal. So what we've thought about doing with this particular project is looking at the retail sales component and rebating a portion of that up to $340,000 to help offset some of the costs for this $32.5 million redevelopment project. The city of Homewood has already considered this, and they are participating with an incentives package that's pretty significant. If you were to look at a participation ratio, Homewood's participating 5 to 1 if we were to pass this at $340 million. At this point, I'll turn it over to Trey. I'm not going to reintroduce him again. I've already spoken.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it over to Tom Walker.
Great, Tom.
Good Tom.
How are y'all? Good morning. How are you? Wonderful. Like I said, my name is Tom Walker. I'm the president of Village Creek Development. We are working on a project in West Homewood. I'm a Homewood resident, so this project is very, very special to me. Village Creek Development is a partnership with Wicker Park Capital Management, which is based in Savannah, Georgia, and myself. This is our first project of this size since we've been together. But my background, by way, just to give you guys a little bit of history, I've worked for Bear Properties and worked on the Pizzitz building primarily as the primary point of contact and development manager for that project. After that, I went and ran Sloss Real Estate Company for Captain Sloss Jones for 5 years. And in doing so, after about 5 years, came and started Village Creek Development. So we started that at the beginning of 2022. Our company's young, but we have a lot of experience in doing these types of projects, and so I want to give you guys confidence in that. As Jeff mentioned, we were approached really in an off-market transaction about the Econo Lodge. For a long time, the Econo Lodge had not been for sale, and the timing was right from the operator's point of view that they wanted everyone to they would consider offers in an off-market transaction. So we put it under contract. It's not a normal real estate deal. This was not marketed out to developers. We went out and really started underwriting what could be here. There was an existing mixed-use development or zoning ordinance in place. We worked with the city of Homewood through their planning commission and through city council to achieve the entitlement that we needed, which really was not significant in changes. There was a requirement for a dense, walkable, mixed-use project on that site if there were to be redevelopment. We also, as Jeff mentioned, have worked through an incentive agreement with the city of Homewood as well. So all that being said, we've received a tremendous amount of positive feedback from the community. Mostly what we really want to drive home to you all in this is that this is an addition by subtraction, just from day one. Just a couple of instances to sort of drive home what the Econo Lodge meant to this neighborhood. That hotel was about 500 yards away from Hall Kent Elementary School. Several days during the school year, they would have to close down carpool, whether in the morning or in the evening, because they were having active criminal issues in the neighborhood. The police department or the sheriff would have to shut it down. There's a really high burden from emergency medical teams, emergency services to come into the site, whether it be through drug use, prostitution, domestic violence, really a lot of bad stuff that's happened in this hotel. So as I said, we believe this is an addition by subtraction. And the other thing that we think is really significant as part of what this project is bringing to the neighborhood is obviously we're bringing in 2 new restaurants. The restaurants will be second locations of El Barrio and Paramount. So as you can see in this building, we have 10,000 square feet down along Oxmoor Road. These are loft-style units that are above it. There are 18 of those. And then there are 51 townhomes behind the project that are all for rent as well. We believe that this type of product doesn't really exist in Birmingham or Homewood or in Jefferson County as far as the townhomes. And to be able to come in, take away such a blight to the neighborhood in the Econo Lodge and add back in such tremendous restaurant uses, we had a lot of support from the city and from the residents about it. And then lastly, West Homewood has always been considered the port of Homewood that is sort of tangent to the majority of Homewood proper. The stepchild, if you will, and stepchild takes offense to that, but that's what it's always been considered. And so we built this proper to create a gateway to West Homewood and create somewhere that really helps you come in and understand while you're entering into a community, you're entering into a thriving community and a community that's in really prosperous shape. So we feel it's like the gateway to Homewood. We hadn't quite named the project yet, but we do feel like it'll have some sort of component of that to the process. So happy to answer any questions you all have about it and appreciate y'all's consideration.
Jeff, are our incentives, are they going back into this property?
Yes, they're performance-based.
That answers my question.
And one thing I did not mention, there is a cost-benefit analysis on this project as well. And we estimate that over a 10-year period, even if the county commission decides to grant the incentives over a 10-year period, we should have revenues of about $2.8 million on this as well. So it's good cash flow, and it is paid in arrears on the incentives.
What we talked about a ratio within the municipality. It exceeds that for the contribution by a large amount. When we're talking about performance-based deliverables. So I move the project.
Second, I just had one clarification. So
not tax abatements, it would
You're
be,
shaking your head, I'm trying.
That's right.
it would be a
I want you to earn your keep now. You got a handsome easel up there, you did good.
Yeah, it would be a rebate of sales taxes generated off the retail component, and just a portion.
So sales tax.
Yeah,
Okay.
but not a.
How much of that, well, are we paying?
$340,000 cap, $340,000 cap. So up to
1% of the county's 2%
Yeah.
will be related. Yeah, for up.
Well, you wanna say it?
Sure, yeah,
Come on, so you
So it's limited to the sales of the 2 restaurants, and it's limited to 1% of the county's 2% of sales tax levied on the sale of food and beverages at those 2 restaurants. It's capped at up to $340,000 over the term of the agreement. So if actual sales don't rise up to a level that would get to that $340,000 cap by the end of the agreement, it would be a lesser amount.
So let me ask this question, what is the life of this agreement?
Up to 10 years or 340, depending on what they get first.
When does it,
So if they get
Hold
340,
on. Are you come to the front, especially since you say you worked on that for this project, I'm surprised that you wouldn't know who I am.
I do.
So let me ask this question. So we're saying for 10 years that you all would not exceed $340,000 in sales?
That's for the county share, 1% of 2%, the county share is 2% of all the sales tax, right?
That's right.
Alright, so we're asking for 1% of that on an annual basis, not to exceed a total investment from the county of $340,000.
we estimate they're gonna hit that number well before 10 years.
No kidding, that's why I laughed, because I was about to say that's not mathematically, that might make political sense, but it definitely doesn't make financial sense. So let me go back to what, so I can have understanding again. So out of the 1 cent, I get it, the 2 cent, 1 cent, you talking about getting, but we don't wanna exceed, is it $340,000 per year?
No,
Or you talking about for 10 years?
Over 10 years. Yeah, so the estimated sales at the restaurant, I mean, it's hard to estimate, but if they're $5 million, say, which is in line with expectation, it could be a little less than that. If you run out $5 million of sales every year for 10 years and apply the incentive to those sales, 1% of that effectively, then you would cross the $340,000 cap in year 6 or 7, something like that. And so I suggested to run this out over 10 years to follow what the city of Homewood did, but to have a protection or a cap in there that the county can feel comfortable with, that if sales exceed expectation, you're still capped at $340,000.
Okay, so, hold on.
let me say something different, because this is stuff that has institutional knowledge and perhaps we did not have moving forward. You have, we have two 1 cents. One is the school tax, the others are general sales tax. This will come from the general sales tax. Okay. You have most of the general sales tax already pledged to Cooper Grain, the health department.
That's what I'm on.
So, and that's where you're going on, so I want this up, it may take, if we're going to utilize that for an incentive package, you need to refigure it. Or, because that money's already allocated and designated.
Yeah.
Commissioners, I think you brought up a good point. It'd probably be safer for us to give an incentive.
Just give the
an
incentive.
based on if they perform with that sales tax ratio.
Okay. So what's the funding source for the $340,000 then, if it's not?
Well, it may be that, it may generate that.
The economic development fund will be the actual funding source, but we base the amount on if you make an appropriate number of sales.
So,
I really want to make it
To
different.
comment on that, I understand the concern, and I think that one of the beautiful things or the strategic things about the way we've structured this is that all the money that we're contemplating right here is net new to the county. It could not possibly be pledged to anything right now, because it hasn't been created yet, if that makes sense. Everything that we're talking about is new income, new revenue, and we're only really asking for 1 cent out of the 2 cents.
When would this start?
It would probably, we're contemplating the agreement that it would be done on an annual basis, and the first payment, I believe, will be paid at the end of 2024, correct?
I mean,
Yes,
when your
generally.
restaurants be up and running, I guess.
Restaurants will be up and running about a year from now.
What are they?
So it wouldn't kick in until construction.
Estimated tax revenue for the county or in general? For
For
the
the county.
For the county, so let's see, it's, we're doing $5 million worth of sales. Of that, $500,000 will be generated sales tax on an annual basis,
So,
and that's $200,000 to the county.
so multiply that times 0.37, which is what we get of our general sales tax. And that'll give you the amount of money that gets available to utilize.
That's right, so 1.275 over 10 years. This is all net new money, again, this is money that right now, is not being generated because there is no retail sales taking place on the property.
And that
So
figure is
you may
just
have
the
enough
new
to go.
sales tax.
Yes, sir.
We estimate by far more than that.
Yeah, so you're good.
But,
But you can't, part of that money is earmarked. You can't go more than 0.37. So
Yes, sir, that's what I'm saying, yes, sir. I understand.
right, so I wanna make sure that I'm clear, so the funding source is or is not.
sales tax.
Okay. Well, I think, don't beat the new kid down, I wanna understand this economic development. I'm new,
You can't
I'm
use
just
that.
as new to the economic development fund.
What's the name of the
Alright.
motel now?
It's the economy law.
You're gonna get fun.
Don't ask the phone.
Jeff seems to know a lot about that. I was down the street in Juniper.
A borderline, a
Borderline, right at.
right in Homewood and Rosedale.
Yeah.
Have y'all talked to the community about
Yes,
that?
ma'am. Rosedale's been involved in everything we've done with the city.
But so what is the city of Homewood, what is their investment?
$1.5 million.
They
Is
are,
that annually or the life of it?
Total.
so they're doing $1 million in retail sales, but tax rebates over a 10-year period. That's why we went with 10 to kind of reflect their term. 400,000 in construction tax rebates and 100,000 in business license deduction.
So you said you're doing $1.5 million.
For the apartments, y'all are building apartments over there?
Yes, ma'am.
So are they affordable or
Yeah, I mean, yes, ma'am. We consider West Homewood a neighborhood in which that, you know, there is a housing shortage, like there is in all Homewood. And, you know, we will definitely go out and market them at whatever we can give them for, but the rents in those markets are nowhere near what the rents are in the other parts of Homewood.
Right. Because they're very expensive.
And
In
what-
Rosedale and
Yes, ma'am. We have to protect ourselves.
I moved
So
that.
we can move in a second, but let me ask this one last thing. When do you foresee this project actually finishing and opening?
We think the restaurants will be open in about a year, and we'll hope to have all the housing finished by the end of 2024.
Okay, so that is the multi-use project that Solomon Crenshaw, I hope he took a nice photo of you today.
I know Solomon.
He wrote up a nice little article, so my point is this is the project
Yes,
that
ma'am.
we're
I've
referring
worked
to,
with
right?
Solomon before. He's been very nice and considerate.
Well, it's nicety is not in question. I'm saying, I'm talking about, is this the same project?
Yes, ma'am. I believe so. Solomon.
Well, no, I read it, so I just wanted to make sure this is the project in question.
I just didn't want to put words in his mouth, but I believe it is. Yes, ma'am.
Well, that is, isn't it? So,
so you did say that y'all talked to the, did y'all have a town hall meeting
Yes,
over
ma'am.
there?
We did. Seeds Coffee. The city asked us to do that. I called this.
Did you have it at the rec center, did you have it at Rosedale Park, or did you
No,
have?
ma'am. We had it in Seeds Coffee directly across the site from where we're built, from where the hotel is.
And you reached out to, so see, because I've already met with them about this, about the house.
Yes, ma'am. Rosedale's been involved through all of our conversations with the city. The refs from the city that's in there, and then you know there was a lot of. what I call my classmates and going through city council. There was a lot of issues with churches that were trying to sort of encumber into Rosedale, and we had conversations about what we were doing there. And like I said, we did not have one single negative piece of feedback from the community in relating to the project, primarily because of what we're taking away.
Well, you had a move in a second.
Move, you have a motion to second.
Move that.
I say all in favor.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Here we go.
You gonna get it down to a science.
Yeah, we'll get it. You just used to say overruled.
Let's keep all these economic movement centers going.
Well,
Sounds good.
Commissioner, I'll take number 4 about it. Number 4, Commissioner, is related to economic development and is funding for the JCIDA. And we're proposing an AO to stipulate that funding to fund the JCIDA board and their operations comes out of the general fund because the amount of property they have sold, put businesses on, and increase the taxes covers all that cost. The way we've been doing it in previous years, y'all have loaned money, they take the money, buy land, and the Jeff Nance Park, they sell the property eventually, and you pay us back along, they use the difference to help fund the operation. Most of Jeff Nance Park now is completely full, so this gives us an opportunity to kind of start over and really set up the funding so they can operate, build our next new industrial park. It makes it cleaner and easier to operate, so they
The funding source for this, you say general fund, but it's actually from the tax revenue generated from within the boundaries of the park.
right. We have done calculations and, the amount of property tax we were receiving before they started versus now. We calculated up to $1.5 million and we stopped calculating because it's a lot of work, but they'll be getting less funds than they have generated.
And what that is, that handles is like the TIF district tax increment financing, is that they're able to stand on their own and operate from within the monies that they generate themselves, which is the way it should be, and we need to use that moving forward if we can.
Yeah, a lot of
Good
those
job.
A lot of those companies have been, they come online now after their abatements have been there.
That's right.
For this period of time, as they're coming online. So I'm gonna,
Second.
Commissioners, I'm gonna ask just for matters of housekeeping, you have, some administrative orders on the agenda. And they have administrative orders and they have the entitled beside it, but they have numbers. And I would ask that you all, if you would just pass these without the numbers, and so the minute clerk can assign those once they're done, on the agenda, rather than to name them, like 23-2 and 23-1, if you would just do them, and amend those, deleting those numbers and allow those to be assigned at the meeting.
I move.
Wait a minute. So are we moving 4 and 5 at this juncture?
No, we just said, listen, as you get to them, if you would just do them, amend those, take the number, delete the numbers that are assigned to them.
well, I move item 4 under economic development, administrative order 23-2, formerly known as administrative order 23.
Or she goes, she's second. There we go.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, Commissioners, you have Administrative Order 23 question mark. Economic Development Fund. This sets forth some kind of guidelines for our department to process your economic development projects. It also sets forth kind of 2 categories: direct economic development activities and enhancement type activities. This just makes it clear and easier for us to do our job. And it also sets forth 90% of the funds of the economic development account will be for direct economic development activities, and 10%, if you chose to, could be used for enhancement activities such as maybe a Magic City Classic or, some types of things that don't directly create jobs, but definitely directly
economic enhancement within the communities. You say you have a food desert area, let's just say Forest, or let's say Brighton, or let's say Lipscomb. You would be able to take a portion of this money who would not need, a small business person who would not use millions and millions of dollars. They would need, if they were doing a grocery store, they would need, well, we need $100,000 to set up our inventories to give us an opportunity to be successful in a grocery store. We would be able to fund that from this particular source, and you have economic enhancement for a particular area, and then you have quality of life for that area because you're providing a service that they did not have. Now, I think that would be more in line with what we then have the fund volume.
It's set up for that, or activities that help the economy, and it's definitely set up for that, Commissioner. That was the intention.
I want that because that was the original purpose of it, was to utilize some of this economic development fund for areas that didn't have it. And it doesn't need necessarily the billions and millions of dollars, because you're gonna have a mom and pop grocery store, which I'm very familiar with. And I know what $100,000 or $50,000 or $200,000 would have meant for a small grocery business. You've got drugstores that would be into that area, and you go to a restaurant. You've seen the city of Birmingham do that with investing in moving that. So this is a fund that will be similar to that, be able to be utilized for in a lesser extent to those areas that actually really do need it.
So would we be safe in saying then, Mr. President, so that we don't put restrictions on that funding, that we can say any community-related, whether it be regardless of the project nature, as long as it has an indirect or direct impact into the counties financially or economically, basically is what I'm trying to say, then this fund would suffice. Is that what I'm hearing?
Or 10% of this fund.
No, I'm hearing 10% or 10 million. I get that. That's 1 million. And I'm saying so that we're not restricting the use of this fund, that we say that it is for community-related projects that will have either an indirect or direct impact on the county.
Sure. The indirect but important activities that indirectly support economic development through tourism, sporting events, entrepreneurship, business development, including incubators, accelerators, and other vital activities.
In support, we say investment, because we're not giving anything, we're investing.
Well, everything we did today has been an
It's
investment.
been an investment.
So we just want to keep the investment.
Keep the investment.
Yeah, so I love the smell of investment. We just want to have investment in those underserved areas that we've been
So you
trying to get in for.
like the word games, that's what you,
No,
cause I don't know what.
I'm not gonna do that.
A bunch of minutes.
If what I described is what I would like the intent of this to be. And, I would like to.
Are we in agreement with that wording that he just suggested?
It will be included in it, yes.
This is
Okay.
more of an input into something than into an event.
I move that.
Will, we're gonna move the item and second it based upon the wording that we just heard. We're in agreement with that?
Yes,
Okay,
that is a word.
okay. So, let me ask this before you carry the vote, sir. So then, Mr. Finance Chair, we're also looking at some things as it relates to your presentation also. So is that this become a lot more meaningful because we know some of the needs that we're talking about will exceed 1 million. And, so you've already got a move in a second, and I'm sure you're ready to call for the vote. And, just wanted to say that with us getting ready to go into your portion of the presentation, so that this all will collectively make sense. All right, you ready to carry the vote? All right. No, you haven't. You got four. You got a move in a second. All those in favor?
All in favor?
Aye. All right. Yes, sir. You're doing good.
Keep going.
Commissioner, Ms. Tyson is asking for a pen and ink change to the document under the enhancement part on the quarterly reporting. We could make that,
Annual.
that term equal to the federal tax quarterly reporting that's required by businesses. That would make it easier on these small businesses. So we'll make that change and have it submitted for the Thursday agenda.
Where would that go under, what part of the
It's under,
pages are?
it's under the enhancement activities on the requirements. We got A, B,
Because the county can supersede federal government, you know that.
under B, organization and program support, commissioners, where we were saying, certain information that had to be submitted in order to, process the grant. Letter D, quarterly reports, we want to make that equal to what they already have to do for the federal tax requirements. So I'll change that.
So then do we need to go back and make an amendment to that motion so that we accept, the language that we just spoke of? So, Mr. Chair, if you can, who made the motion?
I'll
You
move
wanna withdraw your motion?
Well,
He made the motion, and
I
he's
move-
out.
I move to remove his motion and move to amend his motion to include the changes in item D, item C, 1D.
Is it, can that be done? I've never heard of that. I know we wanted to count,
Well, that's an amendment.
I understand, but if we're gonna make an amendment, we typically,
Now, you don't have to withdraw it, you can amend it. It really doesn't matter.
Okay, well,
Jimmy, just say aye.
Sir?
Jimmy keep having all these outdoor meetings.
I wasn't out doing meeting, we just happened to be at, right, same cup of
I know. So,
All right,
okay,
we're
yeah,
amending.
please, Mr. Lemire, enlighten the county attorney. Do we have to do that? We can just amend it without it. I'm talking about without that, as long as we accept. All right, so you made the motion?
I made a
I'm a
motion
second,
to
and
amend.
you ready to carry the vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, commissioners, I wanted to thank Commissioner Boland. How many weeks you been here? 4, 3, 4 or 5, and he's been drinking from a fire hose. He's been a big help with the economic development projects, and thank you. That was a lot. We still got a lot more projects coming. We're working with. Appreciate
Thank you. This has been a great start for me. The commissioners are passing now with me, and just as important, the county team, starting with the county manager and all the ones in this room that have helped me. But this is born of my existence. I've always spent my time in the judicial branch of government, but I am proud of the team, and I am ignorant. But when I ask foolish and simple questions, they will smile and laugh at me. They educate me, and I appreciate all that you've done. All of you, you know who you are.
All right, now you gotta finish your report. Now you gotta finish your
Now,
report.
do your information technology.
No, just,
items in your, other business, items 1 through 3.
I would like to, add 5,000 to item 1.
Okay. Move with an amendment to item number 1, items 1 through 3, include the amendment.
Second.
No, Tyson already said, you ready to carry the vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Call on the reader.
And thank you for that 5,000. But like I said, we have some time to go out to the facility, they'll take you around, and you do the work for it. It's very good.
We got some,
Handicap.
we got some other items coming up. All that.
We did one.
All right, Commissioner Scale. Here, you want mine?
Public Works, Community Services, and Intergovernmental.
I've never known anything to be pressurized.
I know, my wife was in there. All right, Public Works, Community Services, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. We have no items for Board of Equalization. We have a total of 3 items under Environmental Services. David Dennard, is he here? Okay, any questions for David as relates to?
I move 1 through 3.
All right,
Second.
all right, as for moving properly seconded, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
No items under General Retirement System of Jefferson County, 1 item under Human Resources. And Madam, do you all have a question for our HR executive?
Yes, I do. I'll move it, vote. What will be the purpose of a 457 advisor? We have, how many 457 programs now? 3?
We have four current vendors that we use for investments.
And what would be the duties and responsibilities of this advisor?
The financial advisor will serve as a co-fiduciary for the plan for us and offer financial advisement as to how the plans are performing related to the finances and make recommendations if we have investment options that are performing above or below market, how we may need to handle those options.
That, it seems like you're paying a lot of money for something that you see in a report. And you can say what you want to, but these reports that we have, you can discern whether they are in above market or below market, and we've got one that's below market that you're aware of. Have you spoken with them to see if they can, if they're gonna bring up the market? What do you perform as an advisor?
So they may not be able to bring a fund up to market, but they can recommend an alternative fund for us to utilize so that it would perform at market value and our employees would be able to maximize their funds.
Your employees have become very comfortable with several of these funds that we have. And I'm not advocating any particular one, but most of these are approved through NACDA. And they already have that type of service that you're requesting. Also, if the county manager will hire that external advisor, financial advisor that will handle our investments and our debt service. This would possibly be a duty of them because it's the same type of situation.
I'd like to speak to that. The NACO involvement does not relieve us of any liability to our employees for their investments. I think this is a typical requirement to have a certified financial advisor firm looking at these investments to ensure our employees are making the best bang for their buck. We also plan to, have quarterly reports submitted to the investment committee that y'all have set up, and then, go from there. We don't expect them to do anything but help fund and improve the amount of money that the employees make on their investment.
In addition, they would offer advisement tours was about their investment strategies at no charge.
Will this absolve us from any liability? I know that these contracts we have are individual contracts. It's between the company and the employee. If we, and we have no advice, if we select this, does that relieve us or of our liability, or does it perhaps open up the liability?
No, they serve as a co-fiduciary, so they are co-responsible for the plan, whereas right now, we are solely responsible for the $55 million that our employees have invested in these funds.
This is a 3-year contract, is that $55,000 per year?
Yes, sir.
You recommend this?
Yes, sir.
I'll move that.
Thank you.
Is there a second? Been moved and properly seconded, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. As have one item of new business, so if you all will oblige, this.
I move for consideration of one item of new business, District 1.
Yes. Nothing unprecedented. Got a mover, can I get a second? Okay, it's been moved. Item of new business requires a. Any questions? Okay, all right. We all in agreement? Okay.
I move that.
Alright, so been moved and properly seconded, all those in favor let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Thank you everyone, that ends our. No, that's what we did, remember we. See, that's what happened, but thank you, you gonna make it look
Keep you here to lunch.
on your.
Not to lunch, through lunch. Commissioner Josh, District 2.
This is Community Development and Health Services Committee. I will skip all the way down to the Development Community Service, Dr. Hamilton.
Good morning, Commissioners. We have 7 items this morning. I want to take the first 4, just kind of lump them in together. These first 4 items pertain to our emergency solution grant, which we actually give the homeless providers a portion of these PHG funds. Our FY22 allocation was $211,000, and so we're giving One Roof, First Light, Cooperative Downtown Ministries, and Pathways $31,000 for the operations of their facility.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Number 5 is Wolf Farming Construction for the Palmdale General Fund Storm Shelter. This is Amendment 1 for $2,295.
I move. Second.
First and second, item 5.
Aye.
Okay, item 5.
Okay, number 6.
I move 6 and 7, it's staggered green.
Yes, sir.
It's been, item 6 and 7 has been first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we skip all the way down to the Sheriff Department.
For dispatch service, I move that item.
Second.
Okay, it's been, Sheriff Department, item 1, first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I have youth detention.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Can you hear
Hello,
me?
good morning.
Go ahead, Mommy.
Okay. We are asking for a resolution, in order to cancel the bid stream contract. You all allow for us to purchase a new data management software system, Right Track. We're currently being trained on it on site right now. It was scheduled to go live September 25th, and we need to conclude our contract with Bidstream.
get a motion on it?
Why don't we change it?
Monique, why are we changing?
Yes. The Right Track software system, is an enhanced, data management system. It will allow for us to be able to generate our own reports. We will be able to calculate the recidivism data, provide you all with a comprehensive overlook of the facility, a snapshot at any given time. The current provider, we're unable to garner that information quickly without having to go through them for data analysis.
Okay, good.
Did I get that down with a motion?
You got a motion?
Okay.
I move one and two.
Alright, second.
Other good.
Oh.
Did I pass
We
it?
good.
I passed it.
Did we do bid stream? Just acknowledge. Second.
Okay, good person, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Move items 1 and 2.
Did I get a person, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I have a, new business, the Negro Southern Museum, funding for $20,000.
I'll move for consideration of one item in new business.
Second.
I have a first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Can I get a motion on the floor to pass?
Let's see what we got. We ain't seen it yet.
Oh, this coming out of your district.
Yes, I'm not just,
Okay.
I move.
Move item, second.
and first and second, all in favor, say
Aye.
aye.
Administrative instruction, we have roads and transportation, we have, 10 items on here. Does anybody, have any of these you want to look at separately? Move on to 10.
I can say move 1 through 10, and I have second, and I have a question just on item number 2, if you don't mind.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, item number 2.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If I can get the answer on it, then we can actually move it. Tell me a little bit more about that property quitclaim, to Birmingham Fire District. What is that?
That's Birmingham Court.
Oh, Birmingham Court.
That's
No, I know what Birmingham Court is. I was like, forgive me. Claims and lenses. Okay, I got it. You gotta move in a second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Sorry about that.
County Attorney, we have the minutes. Move. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I have, moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I have 2 items of new business. And one of these is a resolution concerning the Grove Memorial Park and Recreation Board. They are setting it up again, and you got, this expired the terms,
How many items in business?
2.
Okay, I move that we, consider 2 items of new business for District 3.
Second.
Alright.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And then the first was from Oak Grove Memorial Park, that they're over with. The second is a letter of recommendation to you for
Right.
Charter Communications.
It's a letter of support.
Letter of support from Charter Communications. They're going to use, broadband grant funding request, for a $11 million project, fiber to home delivery, in the Kimberly area, Kimberly, Morris, it's a rural area, Palmerdale, and they're asking for a letter of support. Move to
Second.
have a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner, that completes my report. Commissioner Dodd.
All right, at the moment, we're
We
going
got
to-
more good news, exciting news.
All right.
Oh, man, no, wait, we got to put this on the vote.
We'll take a little bit out of order, item 1 through 6, any, 1 through 5, any questions on 1
Move
through 5?
items 1 through 5.
And a second, all in favor, please please say aye.
Aye.
I'd like to skip over to the multiple staff development. Have a motion.
Move the items.
Motion, second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The Board of Registrars, I have a precinct location change, precinct 3020 to Grace Life Church.
Where is that located? We can move it, though, which one on that?
It's probably in Jim's district.
Jim is.
Very young folk.
Grace Life Church in the district.
Great life is, yeah.
Okay.
To McCall.
Okay. Aye.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Developmental Services, Mr. Morrison, Z 230023.
Good morning. The first couple of cases that are on for your consideration this week are very similar. The United Methodist Church, I believe, is unloading a lot of parsonages from their real estate portfolios. The first case is a situation out of the Newcastle area where you have a church, a family life center, and a parsonage. They've gone through the subdivision process to split the property, and the rezoning for this is to change the parsonage zoning from institutional to A1 agriculture, like everything around. In fact, they had to get a variance in order to do that because the lot itself is less than 1 acre, but they did secure that as well.
Move the item.
Have a motion. Have a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Z 230024. Do I have a motion?
I move.
Have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those were pretty simple, right?
Yes, sir.
That's identical, really.
Yeah.
Z,
The only caveat is on the other one that there's also going to be a vacant lot, but then they're just going to market that for it's zoned residential, so they can market it for residential, like everything around it.
Z 230025.
This is a request out of this is a situation where we have split zoning on a large piece of property. Portion is on residential, and the southern portion is on agricultural. Because of the size of the property itself, and the person who's proposing to build on the lot wants to have chicken, they're requesting to rezone to A1. Planning and zoning recommended approval, but with a condition that restricts mobile homes from going on the properties. That's something that is typically that would otherwise be allowed to be one zone.
Have y'all, is the farm area?
It's Mount Olive. Not necessarily a farm area, but not necessarily
Have y'all
what you
talked
think
to-
of as residential.
Have y'all talked to the neighbors about the chickens?
We guess that the notice of public hearing went out. We did receive some phone calls, but we didn't have any objections.
The chicken in my.
It would be, yes. It would allow for it.
Z 230025. Do I have a motion to move it to the agenda? So moved. Have a motion. Do I have a second? Say second. All in favor, please say aye. Z B 230008. I have a question on this one. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. This is it's a change of ownership in a bar that's been established since the 1950s. Just a few years ago, there was another change of ownership. It was under the same ownership for a long period of time, I think about 50 years. A couple of years ago, some other guys had bought the facility, and we went through the beverage case then, it was approved. This is just a new owner. There's nothing on the criminal list, or there's nothing on the arrest record, and they've also never been cited on the ABC board.
The new owners.
Yes, new owners.
And the only caveat, and I'll ask him if there is there any chance of this becoming a, when the sign outside says me?
I'll ask.
All right, do I have a motion to move it to the agenda, B 230008? I'll move. Have a motion. I have 2 seconds over there. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Emergency management, do I have a motion? This software. I'll move. This is to maintain the outdoor warning. I have a motion. And a second. All in favor, please say aye. Got all the guys. I know that you're under, General services, item 1, 2, and 3. Building innovation, renovation 2121. Jefferson County Manning, medical examiner. pennies for Sheriff's Department replacement cabinet at the 720 courthouse. Do I have a motion? 1, 2, 3. So moved. A motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. And I have some community grants, 2, 3, 4, 5. I move 1 through 5. I do. Have a motion. Second. All in favor, please say aye. All right, we have a resolution, item 6, ordinance 1801. This resolution authorizes an amendment to the Jefferson County Entity Business License Tax Ordinance to allow some language in there.
What is it? What is it on the agenda?
6, item page 13.
Oh, keep my eye.
Right, you just got your eyes somewhere else.
I'm working.
I know. All right, this is an ordinance that will allow only, when somebody comes in to get a business license, it will allow only legal and lawful business activity on that new business. So moved.
They don't already exist,
It's supposed to.
so they can do anything they want to do.
And they do. That's what's happening now. So,
We just not decided. They been doing everything they want to do.
Exactly right.
All these years, they can open
You
up
have to
a
ask.
brothel.
You gotta ask.
They can open up a brothel until we pass this, so.
You gotta ask the county attorney that, 'cause I had the same question.
But they need to be notified, they can have a brothel for 3 days.
well, they take
You're familiar with Al Capone, right?
If we don't have it in place.
Familiar with Al Capone? And he was got a tax evasion, right? For unlawful entities. And so the taxing law is totally separate from any other criminal activity. So because you're able to tax somebody, that doesn't pass on whether it's legal and lawful. So as a matter of fact, that is what the beginning of your ordinance says. So what this does says that in terms of your licensing entity, your licensing location, there has to be a legal and lawful business. So this clarifies something that should have been clarified.
All right, do I have a motion on this?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Does it apply to renewal of a license?
Entities and locations.
Is that yes? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right, we're back on page 8, budget management office. Here we go, we'll take these in order. As soon as I find out whether she. All right, we're going to start on item 2 in our budget management office and go through these pretty quick.
Do we have the final version of the budget too?
But we're gonna go to item 2. This is a resolution authorizing the equipment shop charges effective October 1st, 2023. And this just changed the prices that the fleet equipment shop charges. It looks like a little bit of an increase.
I move.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Oh,
All right. The second item 3 is the health department. was submitted to us, and we're just,
By statute,
we have to adopt.
have to approve that.
We have a motion. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. All right. Item 4 is the commuting vehicle usage. I really don't have much on this.
I'll move that.
But it's the forms summary for vehicle usage. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right. Item 5 is salary adjustment. This is our COLA for our employees of an increase of 3.5%. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. I have the holiday schedule as a BMO item 6. I do need to make a pending change. December 24th and 25th are observed on Monday and Tuesday. Christmas Day is on the 25th, so that should be changed to Monday and Tuesday. But the date should be changed to December 25th and 26th. So have a motion. In a second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Item 7 is transfer resolution to transfer the funds to balance the budget. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Boy, there's a lot of crickets on this second. In a second, all in favor, please say aye. The item 8 is the permanent allocation of SSUT revenue. And this is the procedure by which we'll follow to do that. Not to exceed $2 million per year. This is just allocating or earmarking SSUT funds.
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And the item 9 is the allocation of the initial funds for SSUT, BMO item 9. Do I have a motion?
Move that.
Have a motion? And a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Now, we'll get back up to item 1, our operating budget. Do I have a motion to pass budget?
With an amendment to, number 1, please.
All right, number 1, what went in?
Okay. You so kind. I appreciate you more than.
I'm trying to pass it. So
We are going home. With your.
Now.
Yeah, right now, so you fancy. Okay, so, want to, we have.
Yes.
Okay, we're in agreement with it?
Yes.
Okay, well, good, so, but I need to say it for the record, so we do it. That we, appropriate $2.4 million to non-departmental, and of that, 500,000 would, go to each commission district, and therefore, that will be to our community, or our district fund, 500 to our district fund.
That'd be 100,000 each.
That's right.
All right, wait a minute, no, let me just get this nomenclature straight. We're moving from fund balance, but this is, in this
Right,
form,
because this is basically, what we
you're
had.
moving it to non-departmental?
Yes, sir, so let me explain it. So 2.4, we would move to non-departmental with 500,000, being applied, meaning 100,000 for each district, which would be our community grant fund or our district fund. And then 1.9 million of that can remain in the non-departmental, fund.
I second.
We're going to non-departmental, it was gonna go to the contingency, I thought.
Well, that is contingency, non-department, 9801, non-department.
9801, is that?
It's the same,
Okay.
yes, sir, with that amendment.
I'll second.
Okay.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Thank you.
And
I move the rest of the budget.
I've got a motion to pass the budget.
Yep, second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Done.
Good job.
It's not 11 o'clock.